ever smashed your thumb with a hammer and screamed, fudge? Today on the show, we are tackling the great debate of Christian cussing. Is saying shoot, darn, or frick actually holiness, or is it just a loophole? We're diving into the difference between a sentence enhancer and a sin, looking at what Ephesians really says about our speech, and asking the hard question, does God care about the syllables you use or the anger in your heart? From holy cussing to the time Jeremy learned that beer and salad don't mix with pro wrestling, we are covering it all. So watch your mouth and turn up the volume. Welcome to Life on 11.
What's happening, dog?
What's up, brother?
What are you doing over there?
Just chilling, my man. Just chilling.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You look comfy.
I'm always comfy when I'm sitting in this chair.
I get it.
It's a good spot.
It's better than being outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as cold today as it has been. It was pretty stinking cold yesterday.
It was nasty cold.
Yeah. Today was unbearable.
I sat inside.
Oh, yeah? What'd you get into today?
I sat at UVA. Yeah. Dad had a surgery. It was all right.
Yeah, everything go?
Yeah, I think they got it all.
Okay.
Had a mass on his lung. Took the mass. Took some lymph nodes.
Cool.
Feeling pretty good. They got it all.
Okay, well, that's good. That's positive.
But, nothing will drain your energy while doing nothing all day than sitting at the hospital.
Ugh, tell me about it. Yes.
Yeah. It's...
I don't know why. Been there, done that.
Yeah. What'd you do today?
Today was relatively calm, uneventful. Had a meeting, went and looked at a couple jobs, had lunch with a buddy.
Where'd you go?
Italian Touch.
I wasn't there.
I mean, I have other buddies besides you.
That's not allowed?
Mm-hmm. I'm here now, aren't I? Anyway.
I had lunch with my mom.
So, hey.
Hospital food. Food.
Okay, all right, fair. That's a little, not as good. But then this evening, Riley and I hung out, just chilling while Talon and Tara went and watched some wrestling.
Wrestling?
What? Well, I guess technically it's wrestling.
Yeah,
because they were actually scoring points and all that stuff.
Right. Wrestling is what you do when there's headgear and singlets and scoring.
Yes.
Wrestling is what you do when there's a steel cage and a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire and people going through tables.
Okay, it was wrestling.
Was there pyro and entrance music?
I mean, I wasn't there.
Was there pyro and entrance?
Probably not.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, probably
not interested.
I mean,
I grew up watching. I grew up watching wrestling. Dude, that reminds me of a hilarious story. Tell me.
Dude. Okay, so growing up, I lived right across from the food line there at Harmony Square.
Mm-hmm.
So I would walk over there, get me some snacks and stuff before I sat down to watch a movie that I rented from the video store.
Oh, baby.
I know, going back in time.
What?
But anyway, I was there one time picking up some snacks for me, and I ran into this dude, just a stereotypical guy, big old belly, looked like a guy that would be just there to get beer, right? So anyway, in his cart, he had beer, and he had lettuce, and he was getting cheese.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, man. He said, I'm here to get me some beer, and I'm going to go home and make me a salad and watch some wrestling. And I'm like, okay, the beer and the wrestling fits, but making a salad, that just does not fit. That does not fit the stereotype that I have of you right now. Hey, beer and salad, I don't know.
I'm just saying. Nothing about that. No. You know what I've never done in my life?
Had a beer and salad?
I've never made a salad and been like, it'd be really good with this salad right now. Pour me a cold one.
But yeah, I will never forget that for the rest of my life.
That's hilarious.
Go home and make a salad and watch some wrestling.
Well, my uncle used to get all the wrestling pay-per-views.
Oh yeah?
We'd go over to his house and we'd watch the wrestling pay-per-views.
My parents wouldn't let me watch wrestling. It was too violent.
Okay,
yeah.
I understand that. I mean, my parents let me watch wrestling because we all knew it wasn't real.
I mean, I knew it wasn't real too, but still.
Yeah, we watched. Yeah.
Along with all the words
the best part
I wasn't
is
allowed to say.
like there's 2 or 3 people in my family who like they still watch wrestling like all the time. And so because I watched wrestling when I was like between the ages of 10 and 17, 16 with them, like they think I still watch wrestling. So if I see them, they're like, "Man, do you see what happened with old Stone Cold Steve Austin?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And then they try to like fill me in on whatever's happened. And
yeah, you gotta be in the know.
yeah,
bro.
I got no. So maybe I need to just like start chat GPTing, like tell me what's happening in the world of wrestling before I go to family events. There's a few of them, man. They in.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
hey,
is it?
I mean, I
mean, if it's their thing,
yeah, if that's your thing, I mean, there's worse things to be into, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true. You do have that right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
yeah.
Forgot. O'Reilly helped me work on the old refrigerator tonight.
Yeah, did you get it fixed?
No. The water is not coming out, and it's not making any ice.
Okay.
So I had to order me a little valve thing, like $30.
Okay.
So when Tara got home, she's like, "Is the part expensive?" And I was like, no, it's not. It's like $30. And I was like, "Why? Are you trying to get a new refrigerator?" She was like, no. I'm like, all right, because I ain't trying to spend $3,000 on a new refrigerator.
Preach.
You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no good.
Dude, that stuff's ridiculous.
Oh, refrigerator's ridiculous. Well, I mean, maybe when you get done, we can work on my refrigerator.
What's wrong with your refrigerator?
Well, nothing's wrong with my refrigerator. I have an ice machine that apparently works for a union.
Oh.
Yeah. It like, we won't have ice for like 2 weeks. None. Zero. So we'll buy like ice from the gas station, and then all of a sudden for like 3 days makes ice like gangbusters. Everything's great. We're like, yay, ice machine works. It's gone.
That definitely sounds like a union.
Yeah, like 4 days won't make any ice. They'll make half a bucket of ice.
Are you not keeping up with its dues?
I guess not.
Bro, you need to get on that.
I know. I don't know. It's quite frustrating because like I always catch at the end of the cycle. So like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have some ice, and there's no ice. Where's the ice? Everybody, yeah, I don't know. I've had it worked on once. Didn't work.
You can't just buy a $30 part.
I don't know what $30 part to buy.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
I mean, like I replaced the entire ice making mechanism once.
Dude, I bet that wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't. But I wanted ice. I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Makes me want to cuss. Speaking of which, like that segue there?
Well, I've heard better.
Okay. We're talking about cussing tonight.
Christian cussing.
Christian cussing. Should Christians cuss?
Cussing.
Yeah, that's right. Holy cussing.
Holy cussing. Wow.
Yeah. Should Christians cuss?
That's one of...
What about, is it okay to use foul language? If you haven't, you should pause this podcast right now. Pause. Don't leave. Come back.
Yep, come back.
Go Google Tim Hawkins Christian cuss words. It's amazing. If you haven't heard it, it is definitely worth. If we had the copyright ability, we would play it for you, but I'm sure we'll get muted. And
oh yeah, we get shut down.
Yeah, it'd be bad. So we won't play it for you, but go Google Christian.
Go check it out yourself.
Christian cuss words with Tim Hawkins. Yeah. What's your favorite Christian cuss word?
Oh my, dude, there were so many words I wasn't allowed to say growing up.
We weren't allowed to say poop.
Poop?
Or what could you not say?
Butt. I couldn't say butt.
You couldn't say butt.
Wasn't allowed to say butt. Had to say bottom.
Gotcha.
Bottom. But no, fudge. Fudge is a good one.
Dag nabbit is one of mine. That's a go-to for me.
Dag nabbit. The old HE double hockey stick.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Shoot.
Oh yeah, shoot.
Dang.
Darn. That one's I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought one up earlier. One of the boys' favorites that I say is great googly moogly.
Great googly moogly.
Great googly moogly. And I always say it like that. I could be like so angry and I still will like great googly moogly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's quite really you can almost fill in any word.
Yeah.
And someone will know like kind of what your intent is.
So funny enough, the person who suggested this podcast topic, a friend of the podcast, RB Propst, I went in to see him at work.
Props to RB
Props. I went to see RB and he told me that he asked if we would do a podcast on this. And I told him that maybe we should play a little game.
Oh,
where you and I would say random sentences and we would just bleep out a word. And you'd have to see, like, did we actually say a cuss word or not? Like, if we just put in the bleep.
That would be hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, that person's a beep, and like said watermelon.
that person's a watermelon.
Yeah. Did you have a cursing problem at any point in your life?
Okay. All right. Problem would almost be like that I didn't intend to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was I couldn't stop myself. But I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening. But when I was in high school, it was all the rage to cuss.
I think that's still a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But like that was the thing. So like, yes, I would cuss at school. Some would say like a sailor.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, when I got home, I could flip it off like a switch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, because I wasn't allowed to say but.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say but. I would say bottom. And like, I'm trying to think. There was one, I think puke. They didn't like when we said puke.
Okay.
So we had to say barf.
Oh, dude, I'd rather you say puke.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Have you ever got your mouth washed out with soap?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you want to talk about nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole, yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, was it a problem? I mean, I knew what I was doing, and I was doing it on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Should I have been? No, I shouldn't have been.
Yeah. I cussed like a sailor especially when I worked in the restaurant scene. I mean, everybody did. I mean, it's not the excuse, but I mean, it was just
understood. I mean, construction.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was all over the place. Yeah. And so I had a really filthy mouth for a while.
Yeah.
Like you, I was pretty good I can still remember the first time that I said like the F-bomb in front of my father.
Oh my. I've never done that.
Yeah. It was not a good situation. Like he didn't say anything, but I could tell like
he was caught off guard.
Yeah. Let's just say it was before I was walking with Jesus in a really good way, and there may have been some beer involved. So I was a little loose on the tongue, and I can still remember saying it, and I just looked at him and I was like, wow, that just happened.
Okay, all right. But seriously though, what really is the difference between saying, oh, fudge, versus the other F word?
Yeah.
Like, what is the real difference other than the actual word that comes out of your mouth?
Yeah.
The intent is the same.
Right. And I think Jesus was kind of getting at that, like in the Sermon on the Mount, because he's like, oh, if you even say to your brother Raka, which, I mean, the closest word we have to that is idiot. So that's pretty low on the...
Yeah, for sure.
I probably called somebody an idiot 16 times today. So the standard there is pretty low as far as the language goes. But he says if you call your brother Raka, then you're guilty of murder. Right? So, I mean... whoo.
Yeah, I mean, and he talks, do not let any, was it impure talk come from your mouths?
Yeah, Ephesians, well, it's like 2 times right in a row, Ephesians 4:29. Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths.
There you go.
But only what's helpful for building others up. I'll talk about that in a second, because I think that's different than what we think it is.
Okay.
Number 2, warning against obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking.
Okay.
So that's like right in a row, Ephesians 4, Ephesians 5. I actually think that Ephesians 4:29 is not talking about cursing.
Okay.
I think it's talking about like gossip and slander and lying.
Okay.
Which I find it hilarious, like the amount of people who think that cussing is bad, but they don't mind gossiping.
Oh, yeah. They don't mind gossiping or talking bad about somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
slandering or anything like that. Like, you do understand, like, unwholesome talk isn't just 4-letter words.
Yes. Agreed.
Like, so I think Ephesians 4:29, because I'm gonna open up the old Bible here.
Okay.
If you look at it inside of its whole context.
Now, I would say, so there's a lot of people, and me personally, the one that bothers me the most is hearing someone use the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
That one there always gives me like, I really don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess I kind of differentiate
between those.
which we can dive into in a little bit.
So Ephesians 4, starting at 25, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. To let the sun go down in your anger and give no opportunity to the devil. Let the thief steal no longer. Let him labor doing honest work with his hands, so that he may have something to share with anyone in need. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only what is good for building each other up, that fits the occasion, that may give grace to all those who hear. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as Christ forgave you. So I actually think like the unwholesome talk it's talking about there, I don't think it's talking about cursing. I think it's talking about where it talks about let all wrath and anger and bitterness and clamor and slander. And up here it talks about be angry and don't sin, put away falsehood, speak the truth in love. So I actually think that one is less about cursing and
less
more
about specific words. But I mean,
Absolutely.
To be fair, in biblical times, the words that we say today didn't even exist.
Right.
So I mean,
right. And that's always the argument that like I've heard.
Sure, yeah, that's always I've heard the same. Like,
right.
Whoever decided that this word was bad?
Well, and I mean, just think of, so let's go back 20 years ago.
Okay.
There's all sorts of words that we say now that 20 years ago were like,
well, that's true.
That's true. Completely unacceptable, right? There's a lot of even now, like the stuff with like the like LGBTQ, all that's like there's words then that like
that's true. You're right.
Like you didn't say those things 20 years ago, but now it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a, or like even something like I screwed up.
Oh yeah.
Like, 20 years ago, that was pretty close to profanity.
Yeah, that's true. That was another one I wasn't allowed to say growing up.
Yeah.
Screw that or screw this or whatever.
Yeah.
That
so,
sucks.
I mean, and some of that is like culture.
Yeah.
Because again, 25 years ago, like you couldn't even say like hell on TV. And now they
pretty much say
whatever they want, whenever I mean, there's been a couple of things like even on like not just on TV shows, but even on commercials where I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like we just said that. Like when I was growing up, you couldn't even say that on like the 11 o'clock show. Gee, Leno couldn't say that. And,
are we watching the HBO?
But
goodness.
yeah, and so that is like because a lot of the words that we think about, they're English words that we've attached words to. So I do think there's some truth to that because they're just constructing things. And so as a society, we have decided that word is bad, right? But, one of my favorite ones is in like the Victorian era, leg was considered profanity.
Really?
Yeah, you weren't supposed to say leg.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, so you could say limb, but like leg was like sexually provocative.
Really?
And so
I mean, I can see how that would fit actually, but anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
So I mean, yeah, so language does change. Now the question is, does that let us off the hook? Like if something is socially a problem and we've decided as a society it's not good, so should we as Christians think about like, what did Paul say? Like, eat whatever meat you want, unless it causes another brother to stumble, then don't eat the meat. And so that's a whole other question. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of times we like I've been around plenty of people that use certain words, and they're not even like people would consider them as bad words, cuss words, but they're not using them in malice or in like they're not angry, they're not expressing frustration. Like they literally just that word is part of their vocabulary.
Yeah.
So that is
sentence enhancers.
Yeah, sentence enhancers. That's a good way to put it. But like to them, it they're like, what? Like that's just how I talk. Like that, Yeah. And it's no different than like me saying fudge.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I've always kind of beat that one around in my head. Like, really, where does this?
Yeah. I can still remember like when I first got into ministry, my cousin took me to visit a friend of his that he wanted to come to church. And he told me like, dude, cusses like water. Like it just comes. And so, yeah, we did. We went and saw him and he had a woof. And like probably 20 minutes into the conversation, I felt like, dude, I told you he's a pastor. The guy was like, my cousin ain't sending him to hell. I It's like, fair point. Fair
But
point.
I mean, that's the real question. Are using the words that we call cuss words, is that sending you to hell?
Right. I don't think it's sending you to hell, but I do think there's something to be said about holiness.
Sure.
And it does not bother me. So I shouldn't even say every now and then, probably more frequently than folks might realize, people will cuss around me. And even like I'll be doing a pastoral counseling session, or I'll be like get ready for their funeral, like for loved one's funeral or something, and they'll throw out a cuss word, and like at first they'll like cover their mouth like all over, and I'm like, look, you're expressing how you're feeling right now. Like it does not bother me.
Yeah.
If we were sitting here having this conversation and you were just cussing like nobody's business, then maybe we would have a conversation, right? But words are indicators of feelings, and so to me there is a difference in you cuss, you said a bad word because you were feeling frustrated or you were feeling overwhelmed, and you are cursing as part of your everyday vocabulary, right? There's a difference in I told a lie and I'm a liar.
Yeah. It's more of like, what is in the heart, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because now, to be fair, I've met plenty of people that use lots of cuss words that their heart is hard. Like, and you can, it's not just in the words that they use, it's in the way they act and just the way they talk, not specifically those words, but the way they talk about other people to other people. You know, that to me says a lot more than just the words that we're talking about.
Right. The couple exceptions I cannot stand when people cuss around kids.
Oh, that's fair. No, I agree.
Like I can't
agree.
stand it.
I agree, especially at their kids. But again, that's
I was very close to pulling my kids off a basketball team one time because the coach was cussing at them.
Yeah, and I
was like, I don't cuss at my children. You're not going to cuss at my children. And partially, like, I think that's just because children don't, like, they mimic behavior and they can say words and they don't even understand what they mean. And so as an adult, there's kind of like some informed consent for the most part. Like most of us are kind of the place where we know that word's a bad word and we know if we use it, it's going to have this effect. I think when you cuss around children, you begin to make it normal.
Yeah, you're right. And they really, I mean, how many times have you heard a little kid say a word?
Right.
They don't even know what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I do wish that we would have less cursing in like the public sphere. Like I don't like cuss words on T-shirts. I don't like cuss words on bumper stickers.
Okay.
That bothers me. I think again, that's like that, like, you know, everybody sees that. And I just think it's very demoralizing, you know, to see those things. So I struggle with that, you know, like, you know, it wouldn't, it's funny because if somebody used a cuss word at me, it wouldn't necessarily bother me as much as like somebody who has it on their T-shirt. It's just like, oh, dude, like, come on, like we all have to read that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that is probably a little distasteful, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's plenty of other things that can be distasteful without using bad words.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the same is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's just that like I have a choice to engage in certain conversations, and I don't if it's all over the back of your car. And, and now you know. So I do not like if Christians use curse words. It doesn't bother me personally. I do not use them. I mean, I do not use them on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
The other side is like, so one of my favorite sermons I've ever heard was by a pastor by the name of Terry Noble. Anyway, forget his name. Anyway, he gets out on the sermon and he stands up, and this guy's kind of like known for like shock jock stuff.
Okay.
And he gets up and he was like, you guys all have neighbors and relatives and people in your family who are going to hell, and you could give us about it. Like says the word in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole church goes silent. He's like, and you will spend longer talking about the fact that I just said the S word than your neighbor's going to hell.
That's true.
And that was his whole sermon. Like he just talked about like the priority of getting to know the lost.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know, that's crazy that he did that. But there is something to be said about that. Like, you know, I wouldn't do that. But that shock of like, holy smoke. How about one of the ones that I think about is in Philippians chapter 3, verse 8. I'll like to get your opinion on this one.
Oh, okay.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 8. Paul says, he uses the word, but whatever, this is verse 8. Indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus. For his sake, I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish in order that I may gain Christ and be found in him. So the word that Paul uses there is scupulon, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Sure.
But it is considered, in original Greek, it's a vulgar word.
Okay.
It would be something like, it really meant dung or trash.
Okay. Okay.
And so Paul actually uses a bit of a vulgar word, even in, we read that, we read rubbish because that's how it's translated. But for his original listeners, that's a pretty like,
could have been the S word,
right?
For example,
Right. It was really a no word. So he kind of uses some pretty strong language to drive a point home.
Yeah, to express the importance of said topic. Yeah.
Right. Thoughts on that?
You know, I'm not going to lie. I have been in some situations where maybe a not so good word was used in a similar situation to make a point, similar to the pastor, that sermon that you're talking about. And in some instances, I mean, you know, if you're using it every day in everyday conversation, it actually, you lose the importance. As strange as this sounds that we're having this conversation, but like, for example, okay, so I used to, like I said, in high school, cuss a lot. Like I was just, I mean, we literally would sing songs. All they had was bad words in them. And like, we did that on purpose because it was funny. But like now, most people would say when they see me at work or they talk to me, they're like, oh, that's right. You don't cuss. Like, so they'll try not to cuss around me. But, and again, not saying that this is necessarily right, but if I use a word that people think is a bad word to get a point across, or like everybody's like, whoa, we need to listen to this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not saying that that's right or that's okay, but in the same sense that Paul used a word that was considered a dirty word to drive a point home, I do think there's some value there. I mean, as crazy as that might sound to a lot of people,
yeah.
I mean, I personally think that Paul using that word, like, what was intentional to get, like, this is how serious this is.
Yeah. It reminds me of, like, we had a coach growing up that he never raised his voice. Like, he even keel all the time. And like the first time he yelled at us, we were like, like we better, because you know some coaches just yell to yell.
Yeah, true. That's
and
true.
It was like, oh my gosh, we better speak up, right? I do think that a lot of times the language that we use is not about us; it's about others. Whether that's fair or not, we won't get into on this podcast.
Sure,
but I do think there's something to be said that scripture we referenced before about Paul, where he's like, you know, should you eat food sacrificed to idols? Well, idols aren't real. And so that food really was sacrificed to nothing. So eat what you want, unless there's somebody who's going to stumble because you do it, and then don't do it.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I might not have a problem with somebody using those words in moderation, but if somebody else does, then we probably shouldn't use them.
Yeah. And I want to go back to about what's in the heart. I think there's a lot to be said for that, because I mean, how many times have you run across somebody you can just tell that their heart is hurting, and they're saying bad things, not even necessarily bad words, but just the way they act, the way they talk, you can tell that they're hurting. So yeah, there's something to be said for that. We need to meet those people where they are, for sure. Same way with everybody else who's maybe not using those words, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, like, words are constructs. I remember in seminary we talked a lot about like the symbol and the sign, right? Like, words are the things that we have attached to the world around us. So a cloud is the word that we use for that thing God made in the sky.
True.
It is a different word in 18 different languages, right?
Sure.
But they do indicate something. So if I say this is a chair, it is the word that I use to talk about this object that I'm sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
So if we use that same concept, curse words can be indicators of something deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody has to use that kind of language. Like, to me, it talks a lot about like how they try to get their point across, or sometimes I feel like the people who cuss the most are people who haven't been heard the most in their lives.
Okay.
And
That's
so they've had to
thought.
almost resort to cursing to
get
feel like
attention.
they're being heard or to
Okay.
get their point across. That's just something I've noticed.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Yeah, I never considered it.
And so I do think, I do hate the fact that we've moved to a place where it's more and more like normal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. It's definitely been normalized.
Oh,
yes.
I remember like when I was working at Dairy Queen, like if I cussed at like if a customer heard me cuss, I was losing my job.
Mm-hmm.
And now like I hear cashiers use that language all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just like, okay, whatever. But all that to say, I do think that the Ephesians 4:29 verse where it talks about it gives grace to all who hears, like it puts the emphasis on who's hearing you talk. It's not just about if you're okay with it or if you think it's right or wrong, but is it nullifying your witness for Christ?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there's a pastor who many years ago wrote a lot of really good books. And I remember there was another book that came out and it talked about the cursing pastor. And they never used his name. They just talked about like there was this pastor that everybody loved, but he cursed all the time. And his thing was, if I cuss, then it makes me more relatable to the people who don't come to church.
Oh,
and then
interesting thought.
Yeah, and then it came out on who it was, and it was like this dude who like you would have never thought that like reading his books or anything. And they like confronted him about it, and he was like, you know, they're just words, like it doesn't matter. And then they like played all these people who had like walked away from God, walked away from opportunities from the church because of his language, and they were like, it really offended me that you talk that way, like you're supposed to be different. And so him using that words wasn't even about his conscience, it was about theirs.
Huh.
And that's what lays it on its head, right?
Wow. Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely has made me think a lot more tonight, this conversation, than I thought it would, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
For sure.
How'd you stop using bad language?
How did I stop?
Yeah. Did you just stop?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Because the only reason I was doing it, like I said, when I was in school, was to fit in or to be funny or to like just because everybody else did it. I mean, that's literally why I did it, for no other reason. And one day I just flipped the switch off and it stayed off. I don't remember exactly when it happened or exactly why it happened. I was just like, I don't need to do all this.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds weird, but I mean, honestly, that's what I can.
I'm glad it worked for you.
Yeah.
I put a rubber band around my wrist.
Oh, I've heard of lots of people doing that.
And every time I said a cuss word, I had to.
Yeah. You had to snap it.
Yep. Which is funny because a couple of times I think I said a cuss word because I slapped the rubber band. That's how it didn't take long. Yeah. Kind of like you. It was just more about like just a dirty habit.
Yeah. It was really just, I mean, literally, it was just to fit in. And I mean, how many other things do we do just to fit in or to be cool or whatever? So really, and I think in God's eyes, it's all the same, whatever those things are.
Mm-hmm. I'll put out one more scripture for us to think about.
Okay.
James chapter 3. In verses, it's like 1 to like 8 or so that all talks about it, but it's specifically talking about the tongue. It says, "For we all stumble in many ways. And if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he's a perfect man, able to bridle his whole body. If we put bits into the mouths of horses so that they obey us, we will guide their bodies as well. Look at the ships. Oh, they are so large, they are driven by strong winds. They are guided by a very small rudder. Whoever is in the will of pilot directs. So also the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell." There is something to say about, I think, it is a discipline that lots of us need to learn to control our tongue. Not just curse words.
Oh, yeah,
but again,
not just curse words.
lying,
for sure.
slander, gossip, right?
Mhm.
But, you'll hear people like, well, this is just how I talk. Well, the scriptures do kind of point to us that we need to control our tongue.
Mhm.
So I do think that we as Christians need to pay attention to that.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just with the 4 letters, but with all of them.
Yeah, with everything we say. I mean, like I said, not like to build others up.
Mhm.
I mean, that right there, like if you were to put everything to the litmus test that you say, is what I'm saying building others up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's really what it comes down to. It doesn't necessarily mean what bad word or what word did I say. It's everything in the whole. Is it building someone else up?
Mm-hmm.
Is the litmus test we need to put it to?
Absolutely. Let's end this podcast with 2 challenges.
Okay.
First is serious, and the other one's kind of fun.
Okay.
The serious one is maybe if you have a cursing problem, maybe fast from saying cuss words for a week.
Okay.
And just see if you notice like a difference in how you feel or how people approach you, or, maybe just like make that conscious decision. Yeah, you probably slip up, but I'm going to really try not to.
Sure.
One of the things that helped me is I stopped listening to music with cuss words in it. That really helped.
Yeah, that would.
For a long time.
Yeah.
But, just cut out the curse words for a week and see what that feels like. The other challenge is, do you have a favorite Christian cuss word, a light cuss word, a Christian alternative, if you will?
A light Christian.
If you do, comment on this podcast and tell us what your favorite light cuss word is. PG-13 version.
Oh my goodness.
Of your favorite curse word. It's been fun, dude.
I said, this is really made me think a lot more than I thought it would, honestly.
It's been a barrel full of monkeys.
A barrel full of monkeys.
I hope you have a good rest of the week.
Same to you, brother.
See you soon.
Thanks again for tuning in to Life on 11. We hope today's discussion gave you something powerful to think about and apply to your walk with Christ. If you enjoyed the conversation, the best way you can support the show is to share, like, and comment wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to connect with us. You can find us on Facebook or TikTok by searching for Life on 11 Podcast. We love seeing your comments and hearing how these episodes are impacting your life. Remember, keep turning up the volume on faith and kingdom living.